Yeah. Coming hard and off the card. I'm coming with the flow, straight from the barrel. And I'm coming from the heat of the damn street. This is PBNN, Point Black National News. The late and the great edition. And the ghetto edition as well. Because this is what we must do. At all times and all ways, we must bring forth that light from the end of the tunnel, from the darkest of his days, as Doc Rich uses that phrase. Great phrase goes out to the great Doc Rich on that one. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said before, we will not go quietly into the night. And from that, we shall bring forth the light. You know what I'm saying? So today, we got an issue here going on. Well, not an issue, but something I need you to look at and listen to. And this is very important for every black American. You know what I'm saying? I know many people may have a lot of issues with my man in more ways than one. Yes, we understand that. And the issue might be this and the issue might be that. Don't mind the background noise. That's just the family doing their thing. Whenever you hear the screaming and shouting going on, this is my family doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? But that don't stop the flow. You understand? You know? But today we have my man Floyd Mayweather, who says that he's not an American. You know, I mean, he's not an African American. You know what I'm saying? He's an American. You know what I'm saying? I agree 100% with Floyd Mayweather. The only part I don't agree with, you know what I'm saying, is the fact that you might not be an African American, but you have African ancestors and African descent in your blood. You know what I'm saying? But he was born on American soil. He knew nothing of Africa. He said he even went to Africa. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is that this land he's standing on as well is Africa. You know what I'm saying? Just look at Lower Egypt, Memphis, Tennessee, Colorado, all down that way there, they call Lower Egypt. If you talk to the older people who know the deal, you know that's Lower Egypt as well. So is South America, India, and other countries. All was African controlled. African people were there first in many, many, many ways. If you go to India, you still see the little short people, the Twa, the megalithic buildings with them carved into the upper skate to the building. So if this the building around here, you know what I'm saying? Down here's the rest of the building and the door, whatever. Around here, you see the little short people in India. Look it up. You know what I'm saying? Do your research. You know what I'm saying? But I still agree with him saying he's an American. He's right. Because this is his ancestors' land in all ways. This was before even slavery. You know what I'm saying? You know? This land was filled with African people. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds and thousands and millions of them. As a matter of fact, they had cities built in different places that were bigger than cities in England. So he has a point here, and I'm going to agree with his point because he has a right to call himself an American. He has a right to say what he says, and he has a right to stand up for America in all ways. This is something that black people is going to have to understand. It's nice to say I'm an African. It's nice to say I'm an African American, but you're really just an American because you were born on American soil. Your parents was born here, you know what I'm saying? And whether we like it or not, the word America or American, you know what I'm saying, or America is African in itself, in the terminology and the etymology of them trying to change it around. But Floyd Mayweather has a very good point on it. I just don't respect the fact of you denying the fact that you have African descent or African blood or your skin is black based on Africanism in all ways. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, let's check out what Floyd Mayweather has to say. You know what I mean?
Yes, you're seeing it right. The Rock and Ric Flair captured in...
Hold on, people. Let's go back. Check it out. We're going back here.
I'm not an African American. I'm an American. I was born on American soil. But I did go back to the motherland, and I love it, and made millions going back to the motherland. But I was born in America. When the Europeans came to the Native Americans, well, they like to call them Native Americans, but the Indians' land, we don't call them European Americans. So I don't want to be called an African American. I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? You can call me a Black American, but I'm an American. When I competed in the Olympics, they didn't say fighting an African American. They said that American that's fighting out of the red corner or out the blue corner. I love America. I love this country.
Now he has a point, and that point is well taken. You know what I'm saying? We could clearly see he's a black man with African descent. You know what I'm saying? And he was born on this land and this and so forth, and he loved this country. So do I. And we have to start to understand that as black people. We've got to stand up for our country, not because someone wants to call us an African American. There's no such thing as an African American. You know what I'm saying? You are African descent, born on American soil. And that's it. So once you are born here on American soil, you know you have African blood. You know you have African descent. You know all of that. But the fact of the matter still remains that Floyd Mayweather said you are now and will always be, because you were born here, raised here, and this is what you know. This is your land. You are an American. You know what I'm saying? And like he said, I love America. So I agree on that point with Floyd Mayweather on that one, because that makes perfect sense in many ways. You know what I'm saying? He has a right to say what he want to say. You know what I'm saying? But there's something else here, you know what I'm saying, that I want to look at. And
yes, you're seeing it right. The Rock and Ric Flair captured in this photo from the 1980s. Can you guess who The Rock is pointing to? Himself? Well, let's unravel the mystery together. In 1922, witness the daring feat of the human fly Harry Gardner as he hangs from the 24th floor of the Hotel McAlpin on Broadway. This fearless climber was famous for scaling buildings using nothing but his ordinary street clothes, making it a jaw-dropping spectacle. And now the moment you've been waiting for. Behold this special picture I mentioned earlier. Take a closer look. Can you recognize the person captured in this frame? It's a mystery waiting to be solved. Travel back to 1970 and meet Jim Carrey. Not as the famous actor we know today, but as a physics teacher in California. The resemblance is uncanny, isn't it? A doppelganger from the past, leaving us wondering about the connections between time and identity. Yes, you're seeing it right.
You make your decision on that one. But there is one here I want you to take a good look at, and this means a lot to the American spirit as well. Now, this can be very heartbreaking in itself when I heard it.
I can't. You know why we don't ever tell you about our day at work?
I heard it before. It was heartbreaking because this guy looks like a farmer, a hard worker. He gets it in, and he's a true-blooded American. He might have ancestors from the same thing Floyd Mayweather saying. He might have ancestors from, Europe, Irish, whatever, European, because he's a Caucasian, and we know much of the Caucasians came out of that area. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he's an American. You know what I'm saying? He puts his back to the bone, and he gets that work in, and this. But this right here almost brought tears to my eye because he looked like a farmer, a heartland man, a man of the land, and have connect to the land now. You know what I'm saying? But this can literally, break your heart, because when we look at the American farmers and we look at what's going on with the American farmers today, a lot of people must now, start to support the farmers. You know what I'm saying? It's important that we support the farmers and agriculture as a whole, because that's the food in which will keep us healthy, strong, and alive. When we start going down a democratic demon road of destroying the farmland and the food and not respecting the farmers as a whole, does not seem right. That's the same way of saying I don't need clean drinking water. Now that they shit up the water and put all kinds of chemicals in the water and then claim that it was a Navy's fault on Long Island and different places, and they just packed up and left the water shitty, dirty, didn't clean it, didn't this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing when it comes to the farmers. We're going to take out the farmers, not support them, make them lose their land. You know what I'm saying? All this when they're already struggling to make money and make things right. Many farmers are not rich, my friend. There are people that put that food, that good agriculture, lettuce, tomato, whatever, wheat to make bread and all this is farmers. These farmers have to go out. You do what much people need to do is when you go in the grocery store, go to the produce aisle. Go to the aisle where the fresh food is at. You know what I'm saying? The alkaline, the lettuce, tomatoes, the mangoes, the this, the that, all the vegetables, all the peaches, all the Arabs, all the corn, all this and that, and the third and the fourth. You know what I'm saying? And just take a look at that food. You know what I'm saying? Just run into the meat aisle ain't just it. And actually, farmers actually are there to produce good farm meat. You know what I'm saying? Not Elon Musk shitty garbage meat. These farmers are out there, doing their strength. But this guy right here, when I saw this almost broke my damn heart and almost made me cry. But I want you to listen to what this white man has to say about the world in which, seems to be abandoning him in all ways. You know what I'm saying? We know what went on when it comes to slavery. We know what went on but many white people didn't have slaves. You know what I'm saying? We need to look at the fact, but many black people did though. So you ain't talking about that. They could use whatever various reasons they want to say that black, this and that, but you did. That's the point. So, but this right here it was enough to almost break my heart. And thanks to this guy that dropped this, because I gave him a thumbs up on his joint, you know what I'm saying? And I wish he would come out more and bring more of these stuff, because he seemed like he's strong in his belief and he's strong in what he knows and what he's doing, you know what I'm saying, in more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? I think his name is or whatever it is called, That's Dak. That's Dak. You know what I'm saying? It must be his Twitter account. But I hope that he do more on stories like this or people like this who really is real. Now, you could see this white guy is real in all ways. You know what I'm saying? We could say what we want about him. We could say he's racist, or he got racist belief, or he made this and that, and then third and the fourth and the fifth. But he knows in his heart that he has to put that, you know what I'm saying, aside, you know what I'm saying, for the strength and the power that shall come to him by the way of our people. Now I'm saying, but I just want you to listen to what he has to say and what this guy dropped, you know what I'm saying, which is very powerful in his ways. And I'm glad that he did. Now I'm saying it showed me how much people care. Now listen carefully.
You know why we don't ever tell you about our day at work? Because we don't want you to know that we work too hard and make too little.
And that's true.
We don't want you to worry. We come home after a 10-hour work day and we fix whatever has to be fixed without complaining. Because we don't want you to think we can't handle it.
Now listen.
The reason we don't ever let you see us get overwhelmed is because we want you to think everything is okay so you can be comfortable.
Listen.
But it does get overwhelming sometimes.
Yes, it does.
The reason why we take a long shower sometimes, because sometimes that's where we let it out. Sometimes that's where we have to cry so nobody can see or hear it.
All right?
You know?
You heard what he said? And you can see he's a farmer. I think he's a farmer. If I'm not mistaken, he's a farmer. You know what I'm saying? He comes home after 10 hours of work. How many people you know put in 10 hours of work, 10 hours or better? I'm sure there's a lot, and I'm sure they, but when you put in 10 hours worth of work on farming and shit like that's hard work. You know what I'm saying? In many ways, it's hard work, and many people won't do that kind of work. You know what I'm saying? But this guy's out there, he's doing this thing, he's standing as an American, and it breaks your heart to hear him say these words and we are going to let people like this down because we following a demon democratical bullshitical world that we think is better, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to these grassroots farmers and these people farming our food, these people here is the backbone and the grass. You know what I'm saying? You have black farmers as well who've been there for years. You know what I'm saying? We need to support our black farmers who farm good food and agriculture, vegetables, lettuce, all that different stuff you see in your produce aisle and all of that, good farm meat and all of this and that. We need to support the black farmers as well as this guy here because he's a farmer and I can see that he puts in his work. You know what I'm saying? We need to quail and come together on many of these issues. You got the brother showing this, you know what I'm saying, and bringing the reality of what America backbone really is. So I'm saying to all people, talk to your congressman, your legislature, whoever you have to make sure that you get the funding you need to keep these farmers well paid and well supplied with what they need to keep the farm and the food moving. You know what I'm saying? We cannot have no supply chain shut down and all that garbage ass trickery shit the demon Democrats just pull. You know what I'm saying? It's time to stand up, people, for what it is in reality to what we need to survive on this here planet, in this here land that we call America. You know what I'm saying? Now let's go to another one. We're going to be running through them. We're running through them today. Here's another one that you need to take a good look at. Check this out.
In America,
listen close.
the people govern.
Facts.
The people rule.
Facts.
And the people are sovereign.
Yes, sir.
I was elected not to take power, but to give power to the American people where it belongs. In foreign affairs, we are renewing this founding principle of sovereignty. Our government's first duty is to its people, to our citizens.
Yes, sir.
To serve their needs, to ensure their safety, to preserve their rights, and to defend their values.
Americans first.
As President of the United States, I will always put America first.
Okay? You just remember that, people. You remember that. You see that? And that came from the great Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States. Now, this is another one here I want you to check out. Check this out. But I think this is highly important to hear because the people need to hear.
Okay, very
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
As to what the Biden and Pete Jones are doing to our country.
No, go ahead. You were just having, but did anything that you learned in there change your perspective on Ukraine aid? You've been pretty outspoken.
No, it did not. Listen. What I heard in there, let me just choose my words carefully, given that it was a classified briefing. But I'll just say this: I mean, if there's a path, if there's some path to victory in Ukraine, I didn't hear it today. And I also heard that there was going to be no end to the funding requests. So I think this latest request for, $24 billion, that is not the end. They made that very clear. It's not close to the end. So I would just say what we're basically told is buckle up and get out your checkbook. Of course, it's not our checkbook. And can I just say, by the way, I'm sick and tired of hearing all of these people in that room for the administration applaud Congress for being so generous. This isn't our money. For heaven's sake, it's not we're not being generous. It's the American people's. And they spent $115 billion of it, and so far they have basically nothing to show for it. And they're going to ask for a heck of a lot more. $24 billion is not the end, not even close.
So what
to the
happens
end.
if Congress doesn't help them with what they need?
Well, hopefully, number one, our European allies will actually do something. And they just confirmed to us again that we have spent more than all of Europe combined. I mean, Last I looked, Russia was in Europe. So we need our European allies to step up to the plate here, and Germany in particular. We can start with them and do more. But that's not the message they're sending. The message they're sending is the American people are on the hook indefinitely. So let's have no more applause for Congress spending other people's money. They should go to the American people and just level with them and say, we want 50, 100 billion more, maybe more than that.
Are you going to attend? Some of the Republicans, they're saying that essentially withdrawing the assistance we're giving to Ukraine would amount to worse than what happened when the Biden administration withdrew from Afghanistan. What's your response to that?
Here's what I think you could do. Go through and listen to take all these comments about what would happen if we didn't keep spending the American people's money. Take out Ukraine, insert Iraq, or insert Afghanistan, and you would get exactly what George W. Bush said for years, and other people after him, about why we have to stay indefinitely in those countries and keep spending money indefinitely with no oversight, by the way, and at the end of the day, very little to show for it. It's the same recycled arguments. I don't know why we have to go through this again.
Iraq seems a little bit different than Russia.
How? The arguments aren't any different. It's the same argument over and over. Listen, I just listened to them say, for our standing in the world, we must keep spending this money. Literally. For our standing in the world. I mean, that's now what we're spending money on? For our standing in the world?
Do you plan to attend?
Mark Kelly mentioned at a pen and pad today that after the war is over, there may be a need for a Marshall Plan-esque, spending to rebuild the country. What do you make of that?
Oh, yeah, that'll be next. We're talking, that's what I mean. They want $24 billion now, many more billions over the next year. It just said that. And then they'll want on top of that, who knows how much. Now listen, here's what I did today. I just stood out on the steps of the Capitol today with people from my state and around the country who are exposed to nuclear radiation by the federal government, and they haven't gotten a penny from their government. Not a penny for 70 years. And you want me to go spend their money, $100 billion more on Ukraine, and they can't even get basic health care because they've been poisoned by their government with military operations? That infuriates me, to be honest with you.
Are you concerned at all that pulling out of Ukraine, pulling aid away from Ukraine could then send a bad message to China, to President Xi?
No, I think the message that we need to send, listen, the way to deter China is to deter China, and you have to do that in the Pacific. Ukraine is not in the Pacific. So our number one national security threat is China. Right now we are out of position. If China invades Taiwan tomorrow, we are not in a position to stop it. And I think we've got to tell the truth to the American people. If they invade Taiwan, Taiwan falls. I mean, that's just, so if you're not concerned about that, then that's fine, but I am.
Do you plan to attend Zelensky's meeting with senators tomorrow?
I doubt it, although after what I heard today, I'm thinking maybe I should, just because I was so surprised by what I just heard in there about the state of the effort that I thought, maybe I should hear this directly from Zelensky, because what I heard was alarming.
So you want to hear from him?
You gotta pay the commercials as usual. That's how it goes.
So you want to hear from him the status
State of the war effort. I was surprised by what I heard in there about where it is.
Progress.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for him?
Well, I mean, on this about the progress. I mean, that was a little different tune that was sung to us there than I've heard sung in public, and it was an alarming one. I'll just say without saying any more.
Senator Hawley,
yeah.
Mitch McConnell has argued that we've gotten a lot for our money, that most of this money has gone to weapons manufacturing in the United States,
military contractors,
upgrading our own factories, modernizing them, restocking our own arms after we gave them some of our older weapons, and that's actually going to help us and help our own military and provide jobs for Americans. At the same time, he points to Russia's military being degraded on the cheap, because we've spent trillions of dollars to counter the Russian military, and for like $100 billion, we've really helped Ukraine destroy a lot of Russian military equipment and capacity. And he also says, Ukraine is free. That's a victory.
Well, last I looked, Ukraine had a whole bunch of Russian troops in their territory. So we've spent $113 billion. That is not cheap of the American people's money. And frankly, the idea that I'm sure the military contractors are loving this. Oh, no doubt they are. They're making gobs of money. Is that equaling new American jobs? I'd love to see that analysis. I haven't heard any actual numbers. I've heard a lot of happy talk about it. I've also heard from the same people that spending the money in Ukraine is deterring China. I mean, these folks, if they want, they need to make the case for Ukraine. If they have a strategy to win, let's hear it. If they have a strategy to actually end this conflict, let's hear it. But let's not have any more, frankly, misleading comments. Let's not lie to the American people about what we're doing and where we are. Let's not tell them we're winning when we are not. Let's not tell them that Ukraine is winning when it's not. Let's not tell them we're ready to stop China when we are not. They lied to us about Iraq. They lied to us about Afghanistan. I'm frankly tired of having them actively mislead us about Ukraine. I mean, this should stop. These people should stop.
Do you think that they should try to provide the equipment to drive Russian forces entirely out of Ukraine?
No. Should we? No. Absolutely not. No, we should not. I'm totally opposed to putting American troops on the ground. They say they are. But
I'm not talking about troops. I'm saying,
no.
Do you think that they should?
No, I think we should. No, we spend $115 billion. What we ought to be doing is getting our force posture where it needs to be in the Pacific vis-a-vis China, where we are badly out of position.
The other argument that's made, including by Mark Kelly, who just came back from Ukraine, is sort of a domino effect argument. That if we pull out of Ukraine,
like Vietnam,
that they would then be on the doorstep of Poland. They would be emboldened to go after Lithuania and all these other satellite states that used to be part of the Soviet Union.
Well, wait, you just said a second ago that their military is significantly degraded. So how are they going to, it's one or the other, right? Either the military is degraded and they're not in position to do that, or they're about to overrun all of Europe. It's not both. So, I mean, I think you should put that question to the folks who say that. I mean, is their military, is it a roaring tiger, or is it degraded? I mean, it's one or the other. So the truth is that the argument always shifts to whatever's at hand to get us to spend more of the American people's money without any strategy for victory. And that's what I just heard down there today. So listen, I hope I'm wrong, but I better let you guys go.
Are you saying, based on what you heard today, that the American public is being lied to on Ukraine?
I think when you tell the American public that things are going well in Ukraine, that is not the truth. I think when you tell them we are in position in China where we need to be, that is not the truth. When you tell them that doing what we're doing in Ukraine is helping with the China fight, that is not the truth. So I just think we should tell the truth, and that is not the truth. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Senator.
Well, from what we see and hear, and we know, based on the whole operation of things, you know what I'm saying, we see that this whole thing with Zelensky and Ukraine, this is something the Demon Democrats did. I mentioned this in the very first time I started doing lives. I said the same thing. I said that Demon Democrats are known for what? Starting wars. You know what I'm saying? I think it was Teddy Roosevelt or one of them said, war is good for America. I got news for stupid ass Teddy Roosevelt. You know what I'm saying? War is not good for no one. How in the world is there any good to a war that takes the lives of people, blows them to smithereens, and all type of fuckery going on there? So we have to start to look at these things from a better perspective. Now, before we look at creepy ass nutcase cheating his way into our election process and so forth and so forth, you know what I'm saying? We saw the same bullshit. You see what I'm saying? We saw the bullshit in all ways. You know what I mean? Now let's take another look at this one. Check this out.
Former NFL player and co-founder of Mission.com, Chris Valletta, on this busy Friday. The details in the near 40-page indictment are shocking. Prosecutors say the couple took bribes that included cash, gold and payments towards a mortgage, compensation for a low or no-show job, a luxury vehicle, and other things of value. It's like a soap opera, but this is reality. The indictment also revealing that in June of last year, federal agents searched Menendez's New Jersey home and actually found nearly $500,000 in cash. That's a lot. Some was stuffed in envelopes and
$500K in cash. Sheesh. Okay.
Some hidden in clothing. They also allegedly found over $100,000 worth of gold bars in a Mercedes-Benz convertible for Menendez's wife. Menendez appears to be the first sitting United States senator in history to have been indicted on 2 unrelated criminal allegations. A 2015 corruption case against him ended in a hung jury in 2017. And Damian Williams, a U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, says the 3-term senator used his power and influence on a large scale.
The indictment alleges that between 2018 and 2022, Senator Menendez, the senior U.S. senator from New Jersey and the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and his wife Nadine Menendez, engaged in a corrupt relationship with Hannah, Uribe, and Davies. The indictment alleges that through that relationship, the senator and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in exchange for Senator Menendez using his power and influence to protect and to enrich those businessmen and to benefit the government of Egypt. First, the government of Egypt alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence, including his leadership role on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, to benefit the government of Egypt in various ways. Among other actions, Senator Menendez allegedly provided sensitive, non-public U.S. government information to Egyptian officials and otherwise took steps to secretly aid the government of Egypt. Second.
Now, when we talk about the government of Egypt, let's be clear here before we go any further. It's important that we do. You know what I'm saying? The government of Egypt is not Africans. Egypt is Africa. We know that. Egypt, you know what I'm saying? We know that's African. But the invasion of the Ottoman Turks, you know what I'm saying? Israel, the fake, to me, it's not real. It's an invasion. You know what I'm saying? And they're not black. They're white. You know, and use a scriptural Bible to try to justify that invasion. You know what I'm saying? You need to get over to my man, General Sarah Sultan Seti, and let him explain that into detail because he's the doctor of science in this time based on much of this. You know what I'm saying? So you need to get to his Patreon account and look up what's going on and so forth. But we know the Ottoman Turks and many other groups moved into Arabs as well, Arab boys as well, moved into Egypt, took over Egypt, ran the Africans out, literally did a transatlantic slave trade, you know what I'm saying? Then in 1937, 1935, built a place called Mecca, you know what I'm saying? Built a place called Mecca. It's not a holy land that been there for ages. It was built in, like, I think 1935, 1937. Same thing goes for Israel. Israel is not original, and it's in Egypt. So it was built there in around the 1930, 1937, probably, you know what I'm saying? And been there ever since, you know, exhorting their racist group on the Palestinians as well as, you know, saying that's what got the Ayatollah and all this stuff, hijacking planes and all kinds of stuff going on. Because America was funding Israel, this new country built in Egypt plateau, in the area of Egypt, you know what I'm saying, in a strategic area, but it's Egypt, you know what I'm saying, and sitting there, you know, in that land. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the Arabs over there breaking up the artifacts, you know, drilling them with drill machines and breaking up African culture, African race, rewriting, robbing the graves, all this different stuff. Where are the Africans to step up to speak on this? Where are the Africans that's talking? They ain't going to talk. But you know why? Because many of the African leaders are on the take. You know what I'm saying? They're on the take. That's why they allowed in all type of people like Bill Gates to be in there sticking the black people with these different poisonous vaccines and shit while they grinning on TV on Channel 12, grinning like, yeah, look how I'm sticking them. And then when you say stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, as if you shouldn't say it and your post should be taken down. You know what I'm saying? We have to start to face the facts here. Do your research on this in which I just said. You know what I mean? In all ways. So let's get back to what he's talking about. Just have to clarify that. You know what I'm saying? The people that they are supplying, this man is supplying, is not Africans. It's a different race. You know what I'm saying? You should look up and do your history work.
The indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a criminal investigation and prosecution undertaken by the New Jersey Attorney General's office related to an associate and a relative of Uribe. Third, the indictment alleges that Senator Menendez used his power and influence to try to disrupt a federal prosecution of Davies in the District of New Jersey.
The senator strongly denies any wrongdoing and says in a statement, quote, "I have been falsely accused before because I refused to back down to the powers that be, and the people of New Jersey were able to see through the smoke and mirrors and recognize I was innocent." They wrote these charges as they wanted. The facts are not as presented. Prosecutors did that the last time, and look what a trial demonstrates. People should remember that before accepting the prosecutor's version. To my supporters, friends, and the community at large, I ask that you recall the other times the prosecutors got it wrong and that you reserve judgment. Pretty stunning allegations.
You know, this is all quite interesting, in part because I'll just roll the clip. Do y'all remember this?
Attention Medicaid, SNAP, WIC enrollees, and veterans. You can get this brand new OX Smart tablet with unlimited...
I'll just roll the clip. Do y'all remember this?
The president is a liar, a cheat, and a fraud. For years, he marketed himself as a self-made, successful businessman. But it's all an illusion. Like the Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain is just a small, petty fraud. He made millions playing a billionaire businessman on TV, but in real life, Donald Trump was racking up huge losses and debts that he then used to get out of paying his fair share of federal taxes.
That's a lie.
I'm sorry, but is that the same guy that we're talking about here? That's allegedly, I gotta say allegedly, involved in this bribery? Is that the same guy that was calling Trump corrupt? Oh my goodness. Well, I'll be darned. Let's jump back into this video.
Let's pull up a picture of that Mercedes that Menendez's wife got. Okay, so if you flip over to page 22, 23 of the indictment, here's what you learn. Uribe, who was this business partner, actually contacted the dealership on behalf of the wife. Then they meet in a parking lot where she receives $15,000 in cash. The next day, Nadine Menendez purchased the Mercedes-Benz convertible, making a $15,000 down payment. How convenient. And then later in the day, Uribe, the business partner Jerry, says, "Are you happy?" to Nadine, to which she replies, "I will never forget this." These are stunning. I mean, I worked in Washington. If you had something mailed to you and it was over, I think, a $25 limit, you couldn't even take it home unless you paid the vendor more than $25. I believe that was the limit. So the stunning allegation of $15,000 for a down payment on a car.
And of course, that $25 would not have even gotten the senator's attention, right? So this is shocking and amazing. It sounds like part of a Sopranos TV show, right? And I got to say, if these allegations are proven, and they have not yet been, I think you have to ask yourself, what was the secret information that went to the Egyptians? How did it influence our policy? How did it influence Egypt's policy? What happened as a result of the fact that the head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee was on the payroll, that he could be bought?
Yes.
This is because I don't know if people understand, that's a really important position in Washington. Absolutely. It is the contact with governments all over the world. So that's somebody who can make a lot of decisions on behalf of the American people, and he was bought and paid for if the feds are right.
It's incredible. And to the point about the intelligence, that is what is so shocking. You turn to page 9 of this indictment, Chris, here's what you find. Listen to this paragraph. Menendez and Nadine Menendez again met with Hannah, that was a business partner, on or about May 6, 2018. Later that same day, Menendez sought from the State Department non-public information regarding the number and nationality of persons serving at the U.S. Embassy in Cairo, Egypt. Although this information was not classified, it was deemed highly sensitive because it could pose significant operational security concerns if disclosed to a foreign government or made public. Without telling his professional staff, that he was doing so. Menendez texted that sensitive non-public embassy information to his girlfriend, and then we'll skip down to where it says Nadine Menendez forwarded this message to Hannah, who forwarded it to an Egyptian government official. Stunning.
It does not look good at any level, and obviously we have to reserve judgment. You're innocent until proven guilty in this country, but to me this is about the preservation of democratic integrity. You know, corruption in any form of government, at any level of government, undermines the very essence of the democracy, you know, the founding fathers intended for our country. And this is unbelievable evidence. You've got cash, you've got gold, you've got text messages, you've got cars. Who knows where this is going to unfold? I just hope that we can get to a point in this country where this corruption is rooted out, but then there's a message sent. To me, bribery and helping foreign entities, whether they're friends or foes, is treason of the highest form and should be punished by life in prison. So we'll see where this goes.
I tell you what, there is going to come a time where we weed out this corruption, and there will be a message sent. And I'll tell you exactly when. 2025.
That's right.
Is when it begins. It's when it will start. It'll be over by 2026. And from 2026 on, America will stand strong for the next 150, maybe 200 years. Until somebody else comes along and decides to try it again. And hopefully, we have a repeat of what happened in 2025. There you go. There you go. But, you know, I just find this interesting, and here's my perspective on this, that, you know, or my thoughts on this, that I haven't seen anybody really mention, and it's this. Do you guys think he's just the fall guy? And what I mean by that, do you guys think they're just throwing him under the bus as just like a token? Now, listen, maybe I'm reading too much between the lines here, but, okay, with the stuff that I see on a daily basis and that we check out, can you blame me? Can you blame me? Now, I will admit, this is a little deep, okay? I'm not crazy, all right? I understand that this is a wild thought. So, I just want your thoughts and your opinions on this. Is this like a token to say, we in the government, we are not corrupt? You know, the three letters and, you know, the justice system is not corrupt. We'll go after a Democrat, too. See, look, guys. We got Bob Menendez, guys. Look, see, we arrested him. So it's not bad that we're going after your leader, Donald Trump. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling. Y'all let me know. Like, but that was just, and I have to say that because that was the first thing that popped up in my mind when I saw all of this going down. Was that, is he just somebody that they can throw under the bus, you know, as like a...
Well, you get the picture. We don't need to go any further. But this corruption goes deep. Now, when we look at Zelensky and what's going on in Ukraine, the Biden administration, creepy-ass administration, and the rest of them nutcase-ass jackass talking about open border policy, and meanwhile selling billions and billions of dollars. This is what they do. They start wars, and they take all the American people money and American lives and send them over to these different places, get involved in these wars, and then try to justify it and say that we should stay there. Even Bush, donkey-ass, motherfucking jackass Jr. talking about we should stay there indefinitely, spending all our money while we have homeless people. So you tell me, if they're sending all that trillions and billions of dollars to Ukraine, crooked ass, including Zelensky, dumbass, you could look at him as he's a jackass, idiot, punk ass, nutcase. You know what I'm saying? To even think that Putin's going to allow him to put nuclear weapons in Ukraine, he's out of his mind. Second thing is, you know what I'm saying, they're using that while the border is open on the other side, bringing in all kinds of criminals and all kinds of shit, spending billions of dollars on them. The demon Democrats love to spend your money, blowing it the fuck out, and then try to justify it in a way, because what they want to do is completely destroy America. As long as you keep voting demon Democrat, that will happen. You know what I'm saying? So in 2024, you better make up your mind as to which way you want to go, because right now you're being dragged to hell because of your affiliation, making yourself saying that you demon Democrat without checking any facts. Look at what took place during the election. All the black people was out there fighting the Republicans, beating them up, doing all kinds of bullshit to call garbage, and thought that it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that they were actually facilitating a destruction of the United States, you know what I'm saying, and where their dumb asses is going to go. You know what I'm saying? You think the Democrats going to take you with them if they have a safe place. You stupid ass. You know what I'm saying? And you out there fighting the Republicans. You're doing all kinds of dumb ass shit, carrying on and all types of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We need to get our head together. So this is point blank saying either get it right, get to the fight, or you're going to lose by the end of the night.